Hey, welcome to the Secret Cavern. We'll take a look around in a minute. You'll see we've cleaned up from the flood. But if you noticed here, we got some Planet of the Apes stuff. I went and saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Loved it. Of course, I like Planet of the Apes. Just looking at the board game here. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But, man, it must have been, again, 74 must have been a pinnacle year for me. Because in 74 or 73, Planet of the Apes premiered on TV. And back then, there's only 3 channels. So everyone's so excited. Me and my friend, I lived next door to my best friend at 10 years old, Bob Allen. And we couldn't wait for Planet of the Apes. I remember sitting down with my family. We're all excited. My parents had seen it in the movie theaters, but they didn't say anything. I think it was a Sunday night too. Man, we're all there watching. And when the apes talked for the first time, I freaked out. I said, they talk? The apes talk in this movie? And I had no idea that no one ever told me the apes talked before. Just imagine being so surprised at 10 years old. So this board game here, Planet of the Apes, is absolutely horrible. I mean, if you have a chance to get it, you're a collector, you probably want to get it, but it is rated horrible. It's Planet of the Apes, that's why I suckered in and bought it. But you play in the game piece, you haven't really played it, because you play it as part a cooperative game, but you're part of Colonel Taylor's psyche. There's a cynical psyche, there's a strategic psyche. What's the other one? The last one is defiant psyche, you know? And so you're playing as these different personality psyche traits. It's really kind of weird, right? It got horrible reviews, but I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna play it to see what I think. This, of course, my Planet of the Apes jigsaw puzzle. Still shrink wrapped, of course, as you see. But that looks kind of cool, right? There were some other ones. I should have got some ones in the 70s, and that would have been cool. But before I show you my books and my pride and joy, I'm going to tell you the biggest story about the Planet of the Apes weekend that has nothing to do with Planet of the Apes. As I said, I was living in Monterey, California. My best friend was Bob Allen. Bob, if you're out there somewhere, boy, you had such an impact on my life. Bob got me into comic books, got me watching Planet of the Apes. Bob invited me to my first James Bond movie. And my parents wouldn't let me go because I was 10 years old. And Bob went without me. I was so mad. I think it was Man with the Golden Gun was playing in theaters then. Anyway, Bob and I were on Saturday, the day before Planet of the Apes there, and we're riding our BMX bikes. Bob had an old Schwinn that he would get parts. This is in 1973, 74, and he would get parts, so he made his own BMX bike. And it was the pride and joy. My parents bought me one because I loved it so much, just bought me a BMX bike, but Bob's was made homemade with different parts and stuff. Everybody in school loved Bob's bike. He would ride it, and Bob never let anybody ride it. Anyway, we're down there kind of in the mud flats area. It was close to our house, and there were some dirt clods, and we're throwing them at birds and stuff. Well, here comes 2 other kids from school, Alan Cook and Ricky. Alan Cook had bright orange red hair, as red as it could be, glasses and freckles. He kind of looked like if you know who Howdy Doody is, he looked like an actual person made out that looked like Howdy Doody. And they were there, and they go, hey, they challenged us to a dirt clod fight. Believe it or not, we didn't have internet back then. That's what we did for fun. So we had dirt clods that we'd throw at each other. And the cool thing is when they hit you, they'd kind of explode and leave a little bit of dirt. So here we are getting dirt clods, throwing them back and forth to each other. What could go wrong, right? I threw a dirt clod, and it went and hit Alan Cook right in the glasses, right in the middle there. And I guess there was a rock in it because his glasses broke in half, and he's bleeding right from there, and he starts crying. And I felt horrible, right? First of all, I thought, what a great shot. But then I did feel bad. And I said, Alan, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Be cool. Don't cry, man. Don't cry. And he's crying like harder this time that he sees how upset I am. And I'm just thinking, I'm going to be in so much trouble. And what's the worst thing that could happen? My parents don't let me watch Planet of the Apes. That's what I was worried about more than anything. So I said, Alan, please be cool. Please be cool. Well, Bob, sensing my distress, said, Alan, if you don't tell anybody about this, I'll let you ride my bike. You could have heard a pin drop. Alan stopped crying immediately. Everyone's just sitting there in total silence. And he goes, really? And Bob said, yes. And he goes over and he goes, not now, next Saturday. You can ride my bike next Saturday, be at my house at 9:30 in the morning, and I'll let you ride it. Well, all week long, that's all the kids were talking about at school. Bob is gonna let Alan Cook, the weirdest looking kid in school, ride his bike, right? And the cool thing was I got to watch Planet of the Apes. All of a sudden the next Saturday rolls around, right? I'm out there waiting. Bob has his bike. I'm not kidding. 15 kids show up from school on a Saturday. The school's like this right across the street from us anyway. It's pretty close. All of them there on Bob's lawn. Why? They wanted to watch Alan Cook ride his bike. So Alan Cook goes over and Bob's saying, okay, here are the rules. You can get on my bike, you ride down to the end of the street, and then you come back. And that's it. And Alan goes, okay. Alan is wearing some kind of overalls and shirt. I mean, he looked like one of those Dixie Midnight Runners that sing Come On Eileen in the 80s. That's how he was dressed. So Alan is smiling ear to ear, gets on the bike and starts riding, and we're all just watching. All 15 of us were watching him down the street. He gets to the end of the street, and he's acting kind of funny on the bike. And he goes around, and he's coming back, and I notice he's kind of pedaling a little awkward, and he's got this weird look on his face when he's coming back, and it's a look not of enjoyment, but of like, I don't know, a mixture of pain, discomfort, possible embarrassment. I don't know. As he gets closer and closer, I look down and I go, is that mustard running down his legs? What's running down his legs? Alan had pooed his pants on Bob's bike, and it was running down his legs. You could see it staining his overalls. Alan is almost crying, just jumps off the bike and throws it, and the bike just rolls by itself and lands in the yard, and all of us are kind of looking in shock. Alan starts screaming and going, see ya, and runs away with poo running down his legs, and I see a big poo wet spot on his pants. We just can't believe it. Well, I look over at Bob. Bob's looking at his bike, and there's little poo on the seat, right? Where he was. Nobody said anything. Bob was so mad, and all of a sudden, everyone just kind of left and went home. I went into my house and closed my bedroom door and started laughing because I couldn't laugh in front of Bob. He's my best friend. And my mom goes, what are you laughing about? And I couldn't even tell her I was laughing so hard. And then I'd go and I'd pull back the curtain and I'd look, and Bob was out there washing his bike. He had a bucket of water and he's scrubbing it. Then he'd hose it all down. Then I would see Bob go down and bend down, and he would smell the seat. And he'd get a funny look on his face like, still smells like crap. And he was out there all day washing his bike. Craziest memory out of all. You wouldn't even believe it happened. But that was Planet of the Apes weekend. Bob Allen. Let me show you my books over here. And I don't know if you want to fan around and look, but I kind of got everything put back together again. Maybe it's a little messy over there. I had to put my Wizard of Oz books over there because I don't want them getting terribly wet. Everything else kind of just stays the same over here, but this is where the real accident happened. Right through here, remember the water. This shelf was okay. This shelf had to be totally redone. And if you look at it, I don't know if I want to pull one out. This is kind of bent out of shape. This one's been out of shape. I got them packed in there real tight. There was some mold on the shelf I had to clean up. I had everything on the couch, but I think I got it. Let me show you this over here real quick. Here are the covers of all the books that were ruined that we pulled off. My daughter's going to make some kind of collage or something like that, but how sad is that, right? Mutant Chronicles. Oh, I almost can't look at it again. I'm going to put it back over here. Hard to look at. All right, let's get our Planet of the Apes books. Maybe before the books you can see, this is the TV series Planet of the Apes. I think there's only like 12 or 13 episodes because the ratings just fell apart. So picture Planet of the Apes meets Little House on the Prairie, and that's exactly what it's like. They kind of go through and help these two astronauts crash land. James Naughton, and I forget the other actor's name. But Roddy McDowell's in it, which is kind of cool. All right, here are my Planet of the Apes books right here. So this is Death of the Planet of the Apes. Kind of a cool book that kind of came up. Kind of a continuation of Taylor in between Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So it's a story right in between there, which is kind of cool. Then these, I think you can still buy these. But look at that. It has Conquest, Battle, and Planet all in this omnibus. This one here has Beneath the Planet of the Apes and Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Escape is awesome because they go back to the 70s. Well, that was current time back then. Then these Visions of Nowhere, Escape from Terror Lagoon. These are episodes of the TV show we just saw, just novelized. Pretty cool there. Again, Journey into Terror. These are all from that TV show, so pretty cool. You don't find them anywhere. There was another one that I bought online on my Kindle, and it tells the story of Colonel Taylor. What if he never went past the Forbidden Zone and he took Nova and they started a family and more people escaped? It was really good. Let me show you my pride and joy though. These are Planet of the Ape comic books from the 70s. So you can see, there's the first issue. I'll take one out so you can see. But these covers are just great. Second issue. So in every issue, there's a story about the movies, and it goes through all the movies, all 5 that came out at the time. And then it tells a story called Terror on the Planet of the Apes, which is really a guy and this other ape, and the other ape has his arms broken, and the guy has his legs broken, and they realize in order to survive, they got to work together. And so he kind of climbs up on the ape's shoulders, and the ape's his legs, and he's the arms. And that's how they go to survive through this thing. So you look at those covers there, it's absolutely great. I think this is the one issue here, which is really cool. I'll show you. I remember buying this one off the stands. It's got a little, see some of the artwork there. They have this big fight. Look at that, there it is. So there's the guy with his broken legs, the ape with the broken arms, kind of strapped together where they got to survive together. Kind of cool, right? Kind of showing, hey, let's break some social ties and let's show that everyone can get along and survive way back in the 70s. And then you got pics from the movie right there. Let's look at these here. You got that issue. Look at, I mean, this is great. You just can't, they just don't make stuff like this anymore. Great stuff from the 70s. I mean, look at that cover. You can tell it's Escape from the Planet of the Apes, but just really kind of cool. Again, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, going to battle. I think they put all these in omnibus once. I didn't get a chance to buy it when it was out, and I think it's like $400 or $500 now. Look at that one, ape, scantily clothed girl on the cover. Don't look at that. I think I'm missing about a few issues, but I got most of them here. So, kind of cool. If you have a chance, go see the movie. That's a little plug for it. I thought it was pretty cool, pretty good. But that's Planet of the Apes, and remember, Bob Allen. I'll tell a lot more stories about Bob, because, like I say, Bob was one of those, you don't have friends like that. Only at 10 years old, do you? And you have adventures. We had so many adventures. All my comic book stuff is all because of Bob. So, Bob, if you're out there, love you. Give me a call. That'd be great. We got some people coming over. It's Father's Day, so I'm going to have to stay down and protect my stuff. I don't know if they're going to come down and visit, but remember, don't touch my stuff if you come down. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.